we came through the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yep.
How hard would it be for you, not even being from here, to hide a body?
It wouldn't be hard at all. You don't know where to search here.
No, gorges and caves and canyons and rivers and everything. I love that song, Take Me Home Country Roads, where they sing about the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's beautiful here, but it's also a place where some people never come home. Like young wife and mother Brenda Lambert, who disappeared here 30 years ago. Brenda was only 22, a baby herself. She was married, she had little kids, and she goes missing on the day of her son's one-year birthday party.
A lot of questions.
A lot of rumors, crazy rumors. Weeks before her disappearance, Brenda Lambert filed a protective order against her husband, claiming domestic violence. Naturally, he became the first person of interest. According to him, though, Brenda just ran off.
But then you've got this weird aspect of this case. Not only does Brenda go missing, you've got an alleged lover of hers that goes missing, Mark Cook. There's no body ever found with that one either. Are they related, or is it just
a rumor?
Yeah.
6 months after Brenda vanished, a local man named Mark Cook also disappeared. Some think it's just a coincidence, while other people suspect that their disappearances are connected. If so, that would open up a whole new world of suspects.
Her sister, Christy's been like an investigator this whole time for all these years, trying to get something to happen with the case. I would do the same thing for my sister.
Yeah.
For over 30 years, all of the rumors and unanswered questions about this case have torn Brenda's family apart. Circumstantial evidence cases where you don't have a body are the hardest ones to solve. So that's why the Mercer County Sheriff's Office has asked for our help.
Something like this where you got a mother of a couple of kids. These are the ones that I think they haunt you.
I know.
Howdy.
Hello.
How you doing?
How are y'all?
Good to see y'all.
Steve Spangola.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So he drafted you, huh?
It is. I'm drafted.
Your department has known about the case for 30 years.
Yes. Yeah, I'm retiring here next month.
This is like your last big push for this, huh?
It is. Don't want to let anybody down. I want closure for the family.
Okay. Well, let's go get started working and see if we can get some answers, okay?
Sounds great. Mercer County is very quiet, very rural, low crime rates. It's a little piece of heaven. Having a cold case like this with a missing person is very unusual. In this case, would mean the world to me.
Okay. First, tell us a little bit about Brenda.
Brenda was a mother of two. She was a very happy person, easygoing. Everything was about her children.
Who's the baby in the picture here with Brenda?
That's baby Raymond Jr.
And that was his one-year birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And the daughter was?
Krista Dawn. She was a homemaker. Family was real important to her. Anybody that knew her knew that she was also a fighter. She had a fighter spirit.
She was kind of sassy, right? She was a feisty girl.
Very defensive of what she loved.
Nice. Brenda and Raymond got married back in 1986 when Brenda was only 16 years old. By July of 1992, the relationship was already headed for a divorce.
He's not living in the house. He's actually living with his mom and dad.
Really? There were allegations of domestic violence and infidelity, and Raymond was staying with his parents on the family's rural mountain property on the day Brenda disappeared. July 26, 1992. How does all this start?
She was having a birthday party for Junior Lambert. Invited family. Raymond went to pick a cake up. He showed up. Tammy Loveday showed up.
Brenda's cousin.
There was a source of tension of her being in the home because there was a lot of rumor focusing around that Tammy might have been having an affair with Raymond.
And she had the nerve to go to the birthday party?
She did.
That's kind of bold.
Oh, yeah. But everybody seems to agree she was in a terrible mood that day, that there was something wrong.
Well, it's not every day that your husband's mistress walks into the house and starts lording over the birthday party.
Right.
When
For
you're
your
a child.
son.
Yeah.
According to the family at the party, everybody left about 8 o'clock. Raymond took the kids up to the mountain property where they spent the night with Raymond and Raymond's parents. The next day, he returned about 2:30 to discover that Brenda was missing.
Family contacted the sheriff's department and said she was missing. The sheriff's department went to that residence. They found the house locked up. The decorations from the birthday party still up. The dishes from the party was still in the sink. Law enforcement starts looking for her, but she just vanished.
How was Raymond handling it back then?
If I was a husband that had lost my wife, I would be calling the cops for updates. I'd be wanting, what's going on? We got nothing but crickets from him.
Whoa.
Brenda's car was still parked right outside of her house, and nothing was found to have been missing. Raymond suggested she may have abandoned her own kids and run off with another man. But if that's so, she didn't take anything with her. Maybe he didn't seem concerned because he knew what actually happened to her.
All right, so you always have to look Spouse first, right?
Raymond Lambert.
Raymond was 26, married young, rocky marriage. He's mad at her about her socializing.
She liked to go to the bars.
Well, everybody did,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It was just what you did on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's jealous, right?
Very jealous. She was telling other people that Raymond was beating her.
Well, there was a deed. Me, against my will, stuck a gun to my head and threatened to kill me. Raymond doesn't get arrested, but she's going to go see legal aid July 30th.
Attorney. To talk about doing what?
Divorce.
Brenda ended up dropping her protective order, which is what allowed Raymond to come to the birthday party. So if he did kill Brenda, why that night? Now let's get to our next suspect, Tammy, Brenda's cousin, cheating with Raymond.
In his original statement, he doesn't put Tammy there.
Denies having any relationship with her.
But even Brenda knew they were sleeping together.
Yeah.
How fast did she move into Brenda's house?
Tammy moved in a week later. They lived together, got married, raised the kids, and got divorced.
Brenda's cousin Tammy replaced her as soon as Brenda was out of the picture. But how was Tammy so sure Brenda wasn't going to be coming back? Did Tammy kill Brenda for Raymond? Did Tammy kill Brenda with Raymond? Or was she really uninvolved in what happened to her? So the only other big rumor that comes into play when we're trying to figure out what to do with what happened to Brenda is, what do we do with the fact that Mark Cook goes missing 6 months later, right? In a small town like this, one missing person is pretty dang rare, but 2 in 6 months, that is unheard of. 24-year-old Mark Cook was last seen on January the 14th at a local bar called Pedro's.
You gotta understand this small town, tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody from school. Brenda Lambert and Mark Cook knew each other, and there was a lot of talk that she's missing. All of a sudden, he's missing. Maybe there was more than just a friendship. A lot of talk and innuendo of, well, maybe she ran away with Mark Cook, found another life.
30 years ago in Mercer County, how can 2 different people go missing? Could they be related? We're just going to go see how far we can go down that trail and see what we come up with. If Brenda and Mark were having an affair, is it possible that Raymond's jealousy caused him to kill Brenda and then seek revenge against Mark? Could it have been someone else? Are their disappearances even connected at all? Any way you look at it, if we're going to solve Brenda's case, we need to take a look at Mark's case too. I've had enough, but I can't walk away. Brenda and Raymond's son was just a baby when she went missing, and today he's still very close with his dad, and their daughter tragically passed away just a few years ago. But Brenda had 6 brothers and sisters. Hello? Hi.
Hello.
And through the years, it's been her sister Christy who's dedicated herself to try and figure out what's happened. Writing countless emails to investigators full of tips and leads and questions. Today we're meeting with her and her brother Tim. We're excited to talk to y'all.
Oh, well, I'm excited to talk to you too.
So we're here to talk about Brenda and what she was like.
She was fun growing up with as a kid. She's a tomboy, and she liked it.
And the principal begged my mom to let her quit at 15.
You're kidding. How
He
come?
just wanted her out of there because she wanted to pull pranks.
Did you know that?
Did you not know that?
She never grew up out the childlike stage, but she was a really good mother.
She did love her kids with all her heart. She didn't walk off,
She would have never left her kids.
No.
Okay.
and she would not let them kids go with Raymond, I guarantee it. She was just exciting to be around, you know. She liked to play around, laugh a lot, cut up, and she was a great mother. She loved her kids. That's the reason I know she didn't walk off like they said. As soon as I heard that, I know she didn't. No, she didn't.
Go back then to late 80s, early 90s. What was going on in Brenda's world and Raymond's world?
Me and Raymond was working at a chicken plant. That's how he met Brenda, coming down to pick me up and taking me home.
Did you want him to start dating?
Well, I didn't mind it at first because I didn't know him. I rode with him for 3 months.
And?
Yeah, I didn't like him very much.
How come?
Well, he'd stop on the New River Bridge. He said, if you ever kill anybody, there's a squirrel hole right down there in that river. Just throw them in there. Tie a block their feet and they go down in that hole.
Are you thinking he's full of shit? He's just trying to impress you, or
That's
he's
what I
messed
thought.
up?
He's full of
So you didn't think he was really capable of doing all these things?
No, not at the time.
Not at the time, all right?
I'm doing.
It's okay, Tim. Did you have any clue that things were not going well in their marriage?
Yes. they was getting ready to get a divorce.
Did you know about the abuse?
No.
Did you know he was running around on her?
Yeah, that's why they was getting a divorce.
When did you start hearing anything about Tammy and Raymond?
Just right there at birthday parties. I didn't know Tammy.
She's your cousin.
Yeah, but she lived in Missouri all her life.
Oh, so she's kind of like the new girl in town.
Yeah.
So Brenda didn't know her either.
No.
Good to know. Thank you. So, Christy, how come of all the family members you sort of appointed yourself to be the one to communicate with him the most?
I mean, I just wanted to. And it was just like a fire in me. I had to find her. And I still do. I can't give up on her. Brenda was like a second mom. He was like my other dad. I was with them so much that their kids were like my brother and sister. It still hurts to think that he might have killed her.
Complicated.
Very. It's been hard carrying this on my shoulders from trying to get answers for Brenda. I mean, she's been gone for 30 years, and there's never any hope whatsoever. Not until Cold Justice showed up, you know? I try not to be hopeless, but this has been the most hope that we've had.
Give me a hug.
Whoa, the tide may come, swallow up the land I'm from. Oh, how the tide may come, drown my woes, the tide has come.
The first thing we want to do is try and get a really good understanding of all the key locations in this case, so we've asked Brenda's sister Christy for her help. Brenda's house is no longer standing, but Christy's firsthand knowledge of the area could really be invaluable in helping us understand Raymond's story and his family's land where the sheriff's department thinks that Brenda might be buried.
You know, when I first moved back here, it floored me how much had changed.
Why did you move back?
To get closer to do something with Brenda's case, because it's just so hard. When I was living in Tennessee, you know, I would make trips in and the phone calls and stuff like that. It was a lot harder than me just being able to go up to the courthouse and like, hey, let's talk about this. I see down this road right here is where Brenda lived.
Darkness left when the sunlight's big, darkness now my only friend.
So, Christy, tell us what it was like 30 years ago.
The house was way back there at the end of the property.
So what was the closest neighbor to Brenda and Raymond back then? All the way over here. Even if you got into a screaming match, you're not going to hear anything.
According to Raymond, Brenda said she was going to ride up the mountain that night. Didn't specify where she was going. But her car was found at her house along with her purse, keys, and shoes. A strong indicator she did not leave voluntarily.
It's hard being in the last place that she was seen.
I know, but you probably got some good memories here, huh?
Oh, I got a lot of good memories.
Raymond returned the next day to discover Brenda was missing. But if all of her things were clearly still in the house, why would he think she ran off with somebody else? Was Raymond actually just trying to draw attention away from himself or his new girlfriend, Brenda's cousin, Tammy?
So this hoe drive we're doing right now would be the drive from Brenda and Raymond's house up to the Lambert property.
Yes, it's on top of the mountain. They own 200 acres.
So if he killed Brenda at the house and brought her up here, this is the route he's driving.
Yes.
Grave digger gonna bury my name, shadows follow me in my grave.
Are we like in the middle of Coaldale Mountain?
This is on top of the mountain.
So the house Raymond grew up in is
Just little ways up the road.
this way? The land that you're most interested in has been Lambert property.
It is.
And up until now, no one has granted you any permission to just go checking it out and searching and digging.
Right.
Standing on this mountain where Raymond's family owns 200 acres of this forest land, it strikes you how daunting this landscape is. If Brenda is out here, she could be anywhere. The good thing is you don't have to have a body to prove a murder.
It's tragic that people can be here one day and gone the next.
Feel my feet.
Okay, so now we're going to try Kay, huh? It's time for us to dive into the witnesses in Brenda's world, starting with her older sister, Kay. We know they were close. Kay gave birth to a little baby girl just 3 weeks after Brenda vanished, and she named her after Brenda.
Hello?
Hey, is this Kay?
Yeah. Hopefully Kay knows more about Brenda and Raymond's estranged relationship and the possibility that her disappearance is connected to Mark Cook. Do you think that Raymond thought that Mark Cook and Brenda were messing around with each other?
Lord, no. She knew Mark maybe by a little bit because he was in school around the time she was. She did not even really know the boy. So anybody trying to connect those two, it's just getting thrown off really bad.
Do you ever remember Raymond and Brenda, if there was any type of arguing.
I know that he'd beat on her once because she had a black eye, her face was swollen. So he'd called ahead of time and told us, now Brenda's coming down there and don't freak out when you see her face. She's going to say I blacked her eye, but I accidentally poked her in the eye with my finger. She came in the door, went straight to the bedroom, and she just started crying, saying that he was beating on her, choking her. We could definitely tell she'd had the hell beat out of her. She wanted me to drive her, I can't remember if it was the police station or hospital, and he pulled me over. He was going crazy, fighting with her, screaming at her, and she was screaming back. She kept telling me to floor it and go, but I was so nervous I couldn't do it, so she made me trade her seat so we could leave.
We know that Brenda filed a protective order against Raymond in the weeks before her disappearance, claiming that he was violent. But it's much worse than I appreciated.
She had a bad habit of choking her a lot, and I saw red rings around her neck.
How close in time did you see red rings around her neck compared to when she ended up missing?
Maybe a week or two.
Wow, okay.
Like and we tried to get her to leave that house and move in with us, but she didn't want to. She didn't want to leave her home. She didn't feel it was right that he was going to get the home and stuff.
Was she really about to go through with the divorce, do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. She had enough after getting choked like that day.
It sounds like regardless of Raymond's affair with her cousin, Brenda knew that her marriage was over. In the world of domestic violence cases, strangulation is the ultimate act of control by the abuser. And a woman who has been strangled by her partner previously is 750% more likely to be killed by that partner. That's all I can think of that we need to ask you right now, Kay. Thank you very much for your help.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so you call her and you just start asking her all. We've heard that Brenda Lambert's disappearance had nothing to do with Mark Cook, but more to do with her relationship and her decision to divorce her husband, Raymond. And it's possible that her cousin Tammy was involved as well, but why that night?
Hey, is this Kathy?
It is.
We're hoping that Brenda's sister, Kat, knows more. Did you know anything about Brenda having an appointment on July the 30th to meet with a legal aid lawyer?
Yeah, she did tell me. I know it had something to do with our separation because she wanted to get her kids before he did.
And so he didn't want to get divorced because he knew he could either lose the kids or have to split up custody, huh?
She threatened to leave him, and she's going to take the kids, and then he said he'll see her dead first.
Wow. Raymond said that he would see Brenda dead before letting her take their kids. So he was not only losing control of Brenda, he was also possibly losing his house and custody of his kids. It makes you wonder if it all came to a head that night of the birthday party and he lost control of himself too.
We was at a birthday party with her little sons. He just turned a year old. We went to go get into a car, and Raymond came back on the steps and said, so he was going to take the kids. His mommy's going to keep them for a couple of days. And she got back out and said, no, they ain't. And they started arguing. And so she threatened him with something.
Okay, talk about that threat. What do you mean?
That it was her son's birthday. She wanted to keep him at night. She told him if he didn't shut up, she's going to tell something on him and the whole family that would get them in prison for the rest of their life, which I already knew what that was.
What is it?
His over there.
Man, according to Kat, Brenda threatened Raymond that she was going to go to the authorities with information about a crime that his family had committed. We've got no evidence that they committed that crime, and maybe Brenda didn't either. But if Raymond thought she did or feared she did, could that have made him snap?
When was the next time you saw Raymond?
The same night, it was after midnight. He came down shaking real bad, scared to death, and said that he can't find Brenda. He don't know where Brenda went. And I said, well, she's at home.
What does he look like? How's he acting?
Like somebody just saw a ghost or something, you know?
Okay.
She said that he can't find Brenda nowhere. We said, well, she should be at home. He goes, no, she's not there.
Raymond told the sheriff's department that he did not return to their house until 2:30 that next day. So how come he's telling Kat at midnight that he can't find Brenda at home?
I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Did he return to her house or not? Did he forget, or did he just blow his own alibi?
We've been hearing a lot of evidence against Raymond, but we have another suspect that may have also wanted Brenda dead, her own cousin Tammy. Tammy was having an affair with Raymond and moved in just days after Brenda's disappearance and married him about as quickly as legally possible.
Oh, hey! Bonnie, how you doing?
Okay, come on in.
Tammy and Raymond are no longer together, and after all, Brenda is her own niece.
Yeah.
They want to blame Tammy, and Tammy didn't do it. I'd bet my life on that. 'Cause she was with me. They had that boy a birthday party for
Right.
his son, and Tammy went to it. And she stayed maybe an hour, and she come on down to my sister's where I was at, and we didn't see Raymond that night at all. And he calls about 11 o'clock at night, wanting to know if we heard from Brenda.
Raymond did.
And
That's that Sunday night.
the night she come missing, she didn't take no card, no purse, no shoes, no ring, nothing. And the woman ain't knew about her card and her purse.
According to Bonnie, Raymond called asking about Brenda at about 11 o'clock, about an hour before he showed up at Brenda's sister's house, stating he was looking for her. This sounds a lot like he was trying to craft an alibi.
What did you think right away when you couldn't get a hold of her?
I was worried, and Raymond's daughter told me Daddy come up here and got Grandpa, and they was off the mountain almost all till daylight. And she was 5 years old when she told me that.
Brenda's daughter states that she saw Raymond and his late father on and off the mountain all night. Did Brenda's threat to Raymond's family get them involved with what happened to her? Or is Bonnie just pointing fingers away from her daughter? Unfortunately, Brenda's own daughter is not alive to confirm this story. And Raymond's dad is not alive either. Things are definitely getting interesting.
Did Tammy ever ask Raymond if he killed Brenda?
Tammy was too scared to ask him any thing. He hit Tammy upside the head with a gun.
Really?
Yeah. Tammy said he took her up the holler one time, and he was beating on her. She got out and run through the bushes and hid until he calmed down because she's afraid he's gonna kill her. But she finally let her good, and I was so glad when she got away from him. I think that saved Tammy's life.
Okay, I'm gonna make him a rush here and film you from the back seat.
Joe has made contact with the confidential informant claiming to have information about both Brenda Lambert and Mark Cook's disappearance. We've heard that there's no truth to the fact that Brenda and Mark were having an affair, but is it possible that their disappearances might still be connected in some other way?
You told me about 2 murders that you knew about.
Yep.
Start from there.
And Mark was out drinking one night, and when he left the bar, I guess stopped and he never got out. It was me. He killed him. Cut him up in pieces, and he said he won't never be found again.
We heard that Mark Cook was last seen at Pedro's bar, which is consistent with this story, as are many of the other details we're hearing. I'm not sure that with just this one witness you would be able to prove in court who killed Mark, but according to this witness, it wasn't Raymond. So when you heard all these stories floating around town about Brenda's murder being connected to Mark Cook's murder because maybe they were messing around,
I knew it was a lie. I knew both of them.
never flirted that you saw?
Nope.
What's the best information you've ever heard or come up with as to what happened to Brenda?
I heard that they was all standing around talking, him and Raymond, and somebody had mentioned something about killing her old lady, just venting, I guess. And I said, Raymond, you know all about that, don't you? And Raymond said, shut up, don't be saying no crap like that. I didn't have nothing to do with that. Daddy did that. And he said, well, if Daddy did it, you just might as well did it. And Raymond walked off, and that's the end of that conversation.
Have you ever heard anything, or do you have any ideas where Raymond would have put her?
I think she's up there on Fodell Mountain. Said they had a sawmill up there. They threw Brenda's body at that sawmill up there.
Brenda's sister told us that Brenda threatened to go to the sheriff's department with information on Raymond's family. And their daughter allegedly saw Raymond with his father on and off the mountain all that night. When you add what this informant is saying to all the other credible witnesses that we have, this is a big deal. This is good information.
I'm just telling the truth about something that happened to 2 people who didn't deserve it. Sure.
Okay, she's home. I see her car. We feel that we can eliminate the idea that there was any connection between the disappearance of Brenda Lambert and Mark Cook, which means that we can focus our attention back on Raymond and Tammy. You must be Miss Tammy.
Yes, I am.
We believe that Brenda's husband Raymond and his late father may be involved, but we need to consider that her cousin Tammy may have been too. If she played a part, maybe she'll implicate herself, or if she knows anything about Raymond's possible involvement now that they're divorced, maybe she'll tell us that. Talk about the birthday party day then, July the 26th, 1992.
Everybody started leaving, and Raymond told me that his mom and dad was going to take the kids on the mountain. That next day, me and her sisters was there, but no sign of Brenda. I didn't think nothing of him doing anything at that time.
It's kind of odd that Tammy didn't think that much about Brenda going missing, especially when it feels like everybody else knew about Raymond's abuse. Then again, Tammy was in a relationship with Raymond, and she was crazy about him, so maybe she was blinded by love. In 1991, you moved to West Virginia with your mom, and you knew you had these cousins, Brenda and her sisters, but y'all never had family reunions or hung out or anything like that.
I didn't know Brenda and Raymond was married. He wasn't with Brenda when I met him. But then Brenda was going out with us and talking to us and stuff, and she told us she was done with him. She didn't want nothing else to do with him.
So what did she tell you about him being abusive, if anything?
She didn't tell me nothing about him being abusive to her. Okay. Nothing.
Because we couldn't figure out why you would want to date a man that you thought was abusive to Brenda.
I mean, I know what y'all thinking, like, this is a married man and woman, here you come in the picture, and then you probably would sit there and kill her over him and stuff. No, I'm not that type of person. I'd never, ever hurt nobody over a man. Having problems way before I even came in the picture. I'm not making excuses for me, believe me. I'm living with it every day that I got with a married man.
What all did Raymond tell you about what he thought about his marriage with Brenda?
I remember one time Raymond telling me, he said that she was going to go file for a divorce, and there was no way he was going to let her have that house and the kids. Raymond is the type of man what's his and what was mine was his. At the time, I thought she actually ran off. But then when things started going by, like her kid graduating, her mom passing, and she didn't come back, then I started thinking she didn't run off.
And then when you started thinking that, did you start asking Raymond any questions? Why not?
I'm scared to death to ask him anything.
Because?
Because he was abusive. He would smack you, he would choke you, he would backhand me with his hand and black my eye. He was taking women to the house. I caught him at work with a hooker. You start seeing him do this, he's lying. He's lying. I learned that over the years. He gets like an itch when he's
really fidgety.
Yeah, yawning or something.
As you started figuring out what he was really like and you were with him and abused by him, did you ever try to put together in your head what happened exactly to Brenda?
Raymond's sister, she said that Raymond and his dad left the mountain that night. He went to the sawmill.
This is the second time we've heard that Raymond and his dad were acting strangely on the mountain that night, and that their family sawmill was involved. Did they use that to dispose of or hide Brenda's body?
I'm just remembering him telling me that in the state of West Virginia, it's the law that you have to have a body to convict somebody.
Raymond said that?
Yeah.
That is not true.
So do you think Raymond did it now?
I think he's capable of it, to tell you the God's truth.
So if he's not here, I'm going to try to get a phone number for him and all that.
We've got one last person to talk to about the 1992 disappearance of Brenda Lambert, her husband, and our prime suspect, Raymond Lambert. He's been characterized as abusive and combative, so we're not expecting him to invite us in for a drink.
Hey, Raymond, how you doing? Sorry to bother you this early in the morning. With the sheriff's department. How you been?
Good.
So I came up to talk to you about Brenda.
We just want to, see if we can close this out once and for all. You haven't heard from Brenda in the last 30 years at all.
Oh, no. When my kids grew up and they become teenagers, I would have hunted her with everything I could have just to say, hey, here is your turn. You take the teenagers now. I've had mine.
We want to see if Raymond says now what he said 30 years ago. How much of his story has changed? And if he truly believes that Brenda simply ran away, is he angry that she left him to raise their kids? You didn't think it was funny that Brenda just takes off, leaves you and the kids behind? No car, no money?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How was your marriage going?
It was like on and off. I married Brenda because I got her pregnant.
Right, I understand that.
And that's the only reason.
Did you try to make an attempt to find Brenda?
Oh, yeah, I did.
And nobody could find her. So what do you remember about that day, that Sunday? Was Brenda in a good mood?
She is, in a bad mood.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't think it had anything to do with the fact that Tammy shows up and she knows you and Tammy are doing nasty? Were you already having a relationship with Tammy?
I had sex with her.
Right.
A couple times before.
So does Brenda suspect that you're screwing around with Tammy?
Oh, no. It was nothing here.
There wasn't?
No.
She knew that? She knew that?
Oh, yeah.
And she wasn't upset about it?
No.
Okay. Were you and Brenda having sex at that time, too, or was it pretty much over with?
No?
No?
No, we was having sex.
In relation to the day she goes missing, right? That Sunday?
Right.
When's the last time you had sex with Brenda?
Probably Friday.
By Friday? Raymond is trying to sell us the idea that everybody was fine with him sleeping with everybody, and that Brenda didn't mind. But I'm not buying that. Were you the last one?
Because we had to go pick the kids up. Then I went and got my dad's card and my mom.
Tammy told us that when Raymond lies, he gets restless, moving his shoulders and stretching. It looks like he's a bit uncomfortable about the important details of what happened that night.
You start seeing him do this, he's lying. Or he's...
It's really fidgety.
Yeah, yawning or something.
Now, did you want your daughter to stay with her that night?
No. Krista had been raised like, basically, my mom had raised.
Right. So Brenda wasn't a great mom?
No. She was not a great mom.
Earlier that month, Brenda reported domestic violence and sought an order of protection. Is that true?
She did.
Against you, or what was the deal?
It was supposed to be against me.
Why would that have been, sir?
She could keep me away from the house up there.
But there was no domestic violence?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Choked her?
I never did choke her.
Did you ever point a gun at her?
I did not.
Never did?
Never did.
Kate told us that Raymond strangled Brenda on multiple occasions, and Tammy said that he strangled her too. It seems like Raymond's stretching the truth as much as his shoulders. Does your family still own that sawmill property?
That sawmill...
No, but your family doesn't own the land up there.
My brother's always lived
Up there?
on his...
Did he give us consent just to walk around and look at the property, you think, for Brenda's body, or?
It's just so overgrown and just nothing just don't look the same.
Well, I don't have any other questions to you, sir. All right, I really appreciate you talking. We might have to come back, all right? First, Raymond says that his family doesn't own that property, but then that they do. And now he tells us that it's too overgrown to be useful in any type of a police search. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic flip-flop. Oh, interesting guy.
Very. Did you see how he acted, though? The look on his face. I was like, that was a tale to me, I thought.
Good morning.
Morning. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
We've uncovered a lot of circumstantial evidence about the disappearance of Brenda Lambert and the possible connection to the disappearance of Mark Cook. Do we believe that what happened to Mark Cook is related to what happened to Brenda Lambert?
I have enough confidence in both of these cases that it's not.
Did we hear one single piece of evidence that makes us think that they are connected?
No.
Not at all. Despite the rumors, there's no evidence that Brenda and Mark were in a relationship or that there's any connection to their disappearances. Their disappearances seem to be just a tragic coincidence. So, Tammy Lambert.
They tried to say because she hooked up with Raymond so close after the disappearance of Brenda that she's involved with this. I don't think that's true at all. I think Tammy's young, she's impressionable.
She's been scared to death for 30 years.
Not only is Tammy not involved or guilty at all in what happened to Brenda, she's going to be your best part of your case. She's going to be your best witness.
Yeah.
Tammy was having an affair with Brenda's husband, but she's always been honest about it and believed their marriage was over. She has always been cooperative with the investigation. She was cooperative with us. She never hesitated to answer any of our questions, even the very difficult questions. In some ways, Tammy was a victim here too. Last but not least, Raymond Lambert. Let's be real honest. Do you think she ran off with some man and left her babies behind with no shoes, no purse, no car, and no money? No way. That's his defense. She ran off and left her babies for their whole lives. Okay, bullshit.
She loved her kids, and she would not let them kids go with Raymond, I guarantee it.
So the day of the birthday party, Brenda's acting funny by all accounts. Their marriage was falling apart. So he didn't want to get divorced because he knew he could either lose the kids or have to split up custody, huh?
She threatened to leave him, and she was going to take the kids, and he said he'll see her dad first.
She knew the day of the birthday party was going to be a day of reckoning, and they were about to get into it because she was about to leave him forever, or tried to, and keep his house. This man that put fingers on her neck and tried to strangle her and beat the shit out of her for many years.
So he was going to take the kids. She said, no, they ain't. And they started arguing. And she told him if he didn't shut up, she was going to tell something on him and the whole family that would get them in prison for the rest of their life.
I think Raymond, her, got into an argument. He's done something. And he went to his daddy and said, hey, I'm in trouble. And he said, let's take care of it.
Raymond's daughter told me Daddy come up here and got Grandpa, and they was on off the mountain almost all till daylight.
And then what else happened? According to the sister, about 11 o'clock that night.
He came down shaking real bad, scared to death, and said he can't find Brenda. He don't know where Brenda went. We said, well, she should be at home. He goes, no, she's not there.
Why is he worried about Brenda?
Left.
That's weird. Use your common sense.
You start seeing him do this, he's lying. Or he's,
It's really fidgety.
yeah, yawning.
Were you the last one to leave the party?
I went and got my dad's car.
Tammy and Brenda's sisters and Bonnie, they're all believable. All telling you the same thing.
He's the person that had the motive and the opportunity and the means. Your case is never going to get any better than it is right now. We want Raymond Lambert arrested for first-degree murder.
Nice, nice. Circumstantial evidence cases don't always get better than this, and it's time for us to present everything that we've learned to the Mercer County prosecuting attorney. Good luck, man. Never got to do this kind of news delivery before in your career, have you?
No, I have not.
After all these years, you get to be the guy that tells them some news.
Feels great. I'm so excited. There's no way we could have got this close at all without the help from Cold Justice. No way at all. I'm retiring in a month. I wanted to see if I still had it to be able to close the case. This is the hardest case the department had. And I'm ready to go in front of the family. And I feel good about it. So I had a meeting with the prosecutor.
Okay.
Wants to look at a few things. I don't want to go into too much specifics, but feel really, really good.
Okay.
Things are going to start moving like you've never seen
Well,
before.
it's already have. I mean, it's already moved further than I've ever seen it move. I want to tell you, I appreciate every one of y'all for what you do.
You're very welcome.
I'm kind of lost for words. It's really hard to let that sink in after 30 years of really not having a lot of hope. It's been hard carrying this on my shoulders, and it just feels like it's just been lifted up off of me. It's a lot of relief.
It's a good case, okay? I know you want to find your sister. I understand that.
Yes.
But he's got your prosecutor ready to move forward, maybe even without finding her, okay?
I'd like to find her still.
I know.
It's a needed thing for closure.
I understand.
Bringing her back home and
All right.
putting her beside my mom. That way we can heal.
Okay. I think we all hope that someday Brenda's body is found and that her family can finally take her home.